one of the ones who stalked you at Buzzy Media yesterday, but you're still the same. One of the questions I had was, I'm one of the few, I guess, I actually really like the fact that you left it dangling at the end. I thought that was cool. My only concern is, and this happens in long stories, is I don't want to down the road see Harry Dresden deadbeat dad. I still think he's going to slip, out of Map's hands. And I've always thought with these people that we send the child away for their own good. It never works out. It didn't work out in this story, and it never works out. And they need to just, the best protection that a child can have is their own parent who's got some muscle behind it, and he's got a great support group. And he'd make a great dad. So I'm just putting one in for Maggie.
The problem is convincing him of that. I'm not one of those writers who goes, "Oh, my characters tell me what happens next," and who I treat as individuals who I've made some kind of deal with. The deal is, you guys work for me, get in line. Of course, I cheat. I can go back in time and fix things in the background so that they want to do what I want them to do. That's my rush of power as a godlike creator.
I was wondering, I noticed Toot is getting taller and taller. And is it the pizza, which is my personal problem, or is it his acceptance of responsibilities that he's growing in?
It's because, it's a little bit of both. The pizza is, as far as to making him grow bigger, the pizza is more symbolic than it is, physically making him grow bigger. And he's taking on these greater roles and greater responsibilities than a 6-inch guy should have. So since he was doing the work of a foot-tall guy, he wound up growing up into a foot-tall guy. And he could keep going, depending on how it turns out. The she came from somewhere. And what you're seeing is like a baby one. That is, if Dresden keeps, loading him up with stuff, he's going to keep getting bigger and bigger.
Hi, Jim. I'm the girl who called you a cock tease over Twitter after finishing Changes.
Hi!
I was wondering, as the world grows increasingly more technological, how do you see wizards in the future dealing with this? Do you think they'll become more marginalized as everyday life forces people to become more in contact with technology, or?
It sort of depends on where magic goes. Magic wasn't always we screw up post-World War II technology. Obviously, before World War II, that was never an issue. Magic had other effects. If you go back, it sort of changes slowly over time, and about every 3 centuries, it rolls over into something else. So if you go back in time, instead of making machines flip out, magic made cream go bad. If you go back further in time, instead of making cream go bad, magic made kind of weird moles appear on your skin, and fire would burn slightly different colors when you were around it. It's something that has gone on over the course of time in the Dresden Files book. Never really been germane to anything that was going on, so I never really dug it up. Although I do mention it in Ghost Story. It's one of the kind of a by-the-by fact that goes flying past. But it's something that changes over time. It's a living, growing force. It's not really aware or anything like that, but it is something that changes along with the people who are using it. So it'll be different in the future. I think I have Harry say, maybe in the future it'll make all wizards good-looking and popular with the opposite sex. But I'm not holding my breath.
Hi, Jim. Hello?
Hello?
There we go.
In the margins of the RPG books, there's a lot of commentary going back and forth between Billy, Bob, and Harry. A couple of instances, it seems like it's being used to address popular conspiracy theories with the fans, or some speculative information about past threats that you've dropped up. Specifically, the woman who's put together SplatterCon, possibly working for the Dark Council. Was that something that you had a hand in? Is that something that's actually canon, or is that just wild speculation on the part of the developers?
So the answer to that would be some of all three. Some of it's speculation on the part of developers because it's stuff that I wasn't willing to share. Although Chad Underkoffler, who's one of the guys who was working on it and who wrote a bunch of that dialogue, was spooky good at picking up little pieces of things that I planted earlier in the books and then drawing conclusions from them. And then I'd have to grab him and say, Chad, you can't put this in the book because it will ruin the actual novels. It will totally spoil the actual novels. You can't actually put that in there. So some of it is speculation from the folks at Evil Hat. All of it is stuff that I looked over and said, yeah, it's all reasonable for them, for the people who are saying it to say maybe that's how it worked out. Yeah, it is reasonable to think, the person who put the SplatterCon together, that was really just a recipe for disaster from the beginning, if you stop and think about it, considering what was going on there. And yeah, I don't think they've done anything. I mean, I've read through it all now, and I don't think they said anything that was too terribly outrageous. It was in character for the folks who were saying it.
Do you have any advice for someone just starting in Nero?
For someone just starting in Nero? Yeah, if you're just starting out in Nero... I'm sorry, what?
Pick Templar.
Well, yeah, maybe so, yeah. Yeah, if you're starting out in Nero, go with an Earthcaster. Read magic so you can use scrolls, because it's handy to be able to start flicking out scroll damage once in a while. And use your goblin points to buy up lots of scrolls and potions because they make you awesome and mighty if you can organize them well.
Hi, Jim. Thanks for coming. I just wanted to ask. I can kind of see where you got the idea for the Marat and the Codex Alera, but I was wondering what gave you the idea for the Vord and the Kingdom.
Okay, for the Zerg, Vord. I feel that's totally original. For the Kingdom, honestly, my dog. My dog is certain he's Ambassador Varg. That's the way my dog approaches the world, is the way Ambassador Varg does. I said it last night, I don't have the heart to tell him he's a Bichon Frise. Dude, you weigh 20 pounds. You're not scaring anybody. Oh, yeah? Okay, back off. We're cool. Really, that's where they came from, more or less. I wanted a really cool predator species, and I said, let's go with canines. That'll be fun. 9 foot tall, nigh immortal werewolves. Who wouldn't love that?
Hi. So Harry's faced down an apocalypse or two in his time, and I was curious, what's his opinion of 2012?
Oh, Harry's opinion in 2012? It's either going to be kind of a bumper year for him in terms of actually picking up money for jobs, or it's going to be one of those years that he just wishes he was somewhere else during. Although, as far as end of the world stuff goes, he goes, nah. It's no more end of the world than any other day.
Jim? I just got to know, what do you think of our cosplay group, guys?
About what?
Our costume. We got Dresden, battle damage. She looks like he's had a bad day.
Awesome.
We got Karen. She's got the cap and the vest. Elaine's visiting from out of town. Show him your chain, love. Looking good. And ladies and gentlemen, don't mess with the Hellhound.
Awesome.
Wait,
When I was writing the books before they got sold, I told myself, Jim, you're going to know you've made it when they make a mush based on your books. And I never even dared to think that I might go as high as someone, as people dressing in costumes from the characters that I made. So